What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Nerd Media, and Captain America Brave New World has officially hit theaters worldwide. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my spoiler review on the film, going deep diving into some of the things that I really didn't like, really did like, some things that I think that Marvel needs to fix for the future going forward with their films, talking about that really just odd post-credit scene, and getting into the cameos, action, all of that and more in this video. We're going to be diving deep into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, go watch it. It's a lot of fun, and I think that you will have some fun at least watching this film because there's a lot of different opinions on this film right now. So I can't guarantee that everybody's going to have fun, but I certainly did. So we're going to be going over all of that and more in this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you saw Captain America and what your thoughts were on it, and what would you rate it out of 10, and where would you rank it among the other MCU films. But with all that being said, do not forget to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, comment down below, and let's dive right into the review. So kicking things off here with the opening scene and kind of the opening first minutes of this film, I really like that opening scene that we get before the title on the screen goes to Brave New World. I think that it's a very fun and kind of fun way to show us what the tone is going to be like for the film, with the music in the background, having kind of three different things going on at once, with Ross being officially known as president and Sam Wilson getting a beer with whoever, we don't know who it is, and then we see the leader. I think that it was all really cool, and it really set a really good tone for the film. And I did think when I first watched it that it was kind of out of place for the rest of the film, that there was a lot going on. But when I saw it for the second time today, I really I like the tone of that, and I think that it was really fun. But another thing about the opening that I just didn't really like, that I've seen a lot of people not really liking, is how they got rid of the more Marvel intro and they just said Marvel Studios on the screen. And I appreciate Marvel for trying to do something new, because you're never going to know if something new is going to work if you don't try it. But I hope that they know that that just failed, and that they really need to stick to that Marvel intro. But I appreciate them for trying something new. I mean, it kind of grew on me the second time, but that Marvel intro, we just need it back for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. The opening fight scene of this film is actually really fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. And the action in this film really stands out when it's mainly focused on Sam Wilson using the shield, because when it's hand-to-hand combat, it just really doesn't hit the same as previous films for the MCU have when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, and it really just kind of falls flat. Like, there are some fights that happen later on in the film that are just kind of strange to look at, but when it's the Captain America using a shield, it is so much fun, and it is just such a blast to watch, and Sam Wilson knows how to use that shield. This film also has a lot of very undercooked things about it, and I really do feel like that the whole villain thing with the leader just did not really end up going in the direction that a lot of people, including me, had hoped. He just, it's a good concept to have him in the film and to have him come back after all these years and to have this character be present, but I feel like it was just not executed right, and we hardly even really see him in the film. I mean, you can feel his presence even when he's not there, but he's supposed to be this really intelligent guy, and the fact that he turned himself in and that was his big grand plan, it was just kind of strange. I get that his big plan was to bring out the Red Hulk, but I mean, it's just like really weirdly executed, and I feel like it's another thing where Marvel has wasted a good villain and their potential. But I think by far my biggest disappointment with this film has to be how underused Giancarlo Esposito was in this film. He is a really amazing actor. I love him in things like Breaking Bad and Mandalorian and just other things like that. It's just, I feel like he could have had a different role in a different Marvel film. His character Sidewinder is just hardly in the movie at all. And he's there for like the first opening scene, and then he's there for the ambush scene, and he's there to help Cap at one scene. But you can definitely tell in those parts that those were just shot in like a year ago. They should have just given this character more screen time and kept with the Serpent Society plot that they originally had for the film. Like, it was called Captain America: The Serpent Society. Just make Sidewinder the main villain, and that would have been all good, and he could have played the same character. And I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys here. I haven't heard a lot of people saying this, but I feel like the Red Hulk fight for me was a little bit anticlimactic and very short lived, because Marvel just really pushed the promo and the marketing for Red Hulk specifically for the past months, even since the first trailer that we got back in July. And I really feel like that fight should have lasted a little bit longer, because it really feels like we got all of the clips from the fight in those trailers because, I mean, there are a few different and new shots that we see in the movie, but it really feels like they just showed us the whole thing in the trailers and that it was really just not the most rewarding thing that we got from this film, and that is really upsetting to say considering how big of a moment that should have been for the MCU. But flaws aside, I just have to say this movie is so much fun, and it really, really, really just felt like a classic, fun MCU film. And another thing, and probably the main thing that made me super, super happy, was the fact that the MCU after this film really feels super connected now because this is the first film that we've gotten in so long where it genuinely feels like we're a part of a connected universe again because we have really been missing that in the most recent Marvel projects that we've gotten, and it really just is confusing everybody. We don't know where we're going in the direction. We know we're heading to Doctor Doom, but we haven't had anything building that up and setting that up. And I just, man, it was so I was so happy to kind of feel that interconnectedness. It was just great. And I feel like this film kind of got the Black Widow treatment. I feel like this film should have been one of the first Marvel movies that we got after Avengers Endgame. Like after Falcon and Winter Soldier, we should have got this film in like 2022 because it really, really, really feels like a film that should have released at the very beginning of the multiverse saga for me. I just really felt that there were a lot of moments in this film, like where President Ross asks Sam to rebuild the Avengers. I feel like moments like that are something that we should have seen at the beginning of the multiverse saga. Marvel did what they do best in this film, and they gave us a really, really awesome and fun cameo. We got to see Bucky appear, and man, it was so great to see Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes interacting on screen again. I miss that duo. It's been almost 4 years since we've seen them. It was actually a prediction of mine that Bucky was going to be in here because how can you have a Captain America film without Bucky? And considering how close of friends they are, it just made sense. And I would have loved to see him at least once before Thunderbolts. And man, it was also really fun to see how Sam has this picture of him and Bucky in his office as well. But the cameo was fun, and I loved getting another little piece of interconnectedness saying that Bucky is running for Congress, and we know that he gets in Congress in Thunderbolts because we see that in the trailers. And I think that that is a really fun little addition that they had, and that whole interaction that they had was just great. Another awesome thing about this movie is Anthony Mackie. I mean, he is my Captain America after this film, and he was even after Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was so ready to see him in this film and just totally prove everybody wrong, and I feel like he has done that for most people, and I am so excited to see him take on that mantle in future projects with Avengers. Hopefully he gets some new films, maybe with some better writing, and I hope that we get to see him go on some more separate adventures on his own in the MCU. I love how different he treats the situations where he's put in with Captain America than Steve Rogers would, because that just really makes me love Sam Wilson a lot more, is the fact that he takes a different approach to everything. But we have to talk about that part in the film where we see Sam Wilson and Falcon fighting over the Celestial Island and just fighting all the planes and everything. Man, that was such a cool visual. That was such a visually cool thing to look at. I loved it. I love seeing Red Wing kind of like take the shield off of his back and kind of like dodge the bullets back there. That was awesome, and I really hope we see that move again in Avengers and whatever Captain America projects we get next, because that was just so cool. And I just absolutely loved how we got to see Captain America riding a missile. Like that was just such a cool standout for me of that scene. But we have to talk about that post credit scene because what was that? I mean, I am interpreting the fact that this post credit scene was made when Marvel still had plans for Kang, because the leader in the post credit, if you guys don't know, the post credit scene is basically Sam Wilson goes to visit the leader in the raft, and he's talking to him about how he sees like in the future like a day where all the heroes of Earth are gonna have to fight to protect it, that there's other worlds out there, clearly alluding to the multiverse and everything. But then he says the others are coming, which if you really listen to those words, you're like, he was very clearly talking about Kang, because when he said the others, I immediately thought of the Council of Kangs, and I'm like, yeah, this post credit scene was 100% meant for when Kang was supposed to be the big bad, and it really really makes me question why didn't Marvel just reshoot the post credit scene, because if this post credit scene was supposed to be for Kang, they must have had so much more time to reshoot it, but I guess they didn't, but I guess they wanted us to interpret it as Doctor Doom. But there are some things that we can take away from this film that Marvel really should learn from, and it's the fact that there were like three different versions of this movie over the past few years, and it has gone through a lot of reshoots, which are normal for films, but I think this film went through a lot more than just 3 weeks of reshoots. And it really is just proving the point that Marvel really needs to stop greenlighting films before they have a story even for the project. I mean, this is something that I'm really happy that James Gunn is doing with the DCU. Marvel needs to start doing that as well, and this film just really, really proves that. And that I think that if they just take their time with the stories, it could really, really work. Another thing for this film specifically that I think Marvel shouldn't have done was use Red Hulk so much in the promo material. I get why they did it because I think they had some contracts with other places to release specific marketing toys and stuff that had Red Hulk in them, and it was going to sell a lot of tickets anyway. But if they had kept that mystery of Red Hulk and we didn't know he was in it at all, and we went in and we were kind of following along with the mystery like everybody else was in the film, I think a lot of people would have enjoyed it more because we knew that he was going to turn to Red Hulk, and it really felt like they were kind of pushing that mystery forward for people who hadn't seen the promos. I think the film would have worked a lot better if he was hidden from the marketing, but I get why they did it anyway, and it's really not that big of a deal, but I think the film would have had a bigger, more positive impact if they had done that. So I think that Marvel still has that comeback energy that we were all hoping for them to have this year, because they still have Daredevil Born Again in like 3 weeks. We have Thunderbolts, we have Fantastic Four, we have so many other fun projects coming this year. And I think that Marvel really, really, really has that kind of comeback energy still. And I think that they are going to have a comeback by the end of the year. And we're going to look back on it and be like, Marvel may have had an iffy start to 2025, but it ended pretty well. And I hope that's what we say at the end of the year. But guys, overall, I had a really big enjoyment for this film. I give it like a 7.5 out of 10 overall. And it's not extremely high on the MCU ranking list for me. I think it's more in the middle. I really, really enjoyed this film. It's a lot of fun, and I don't understand why it's getting all this hate. I can understand where it's coming from, but personally, I just don't feel that. I just like to enjoy things. I like to enjoy movies. If I can watch a movie, especially a Marvel or comic book film, and just have fun with it, then that's a win for me. So this film was a win for me. And although it does have flaws like I was just talking about, it doesn't mean that this film wasn't fun. This film was fun. I enjoy it. I highly recommend you guys go see it, especially if you're a Sam Wilson fan or you enjoyed The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Overall, I enjoyed the film a lot, and I will have some more Captain America content coming this weekend, so stay tuned. With all that being said, everybody, comment down below what you thought of Captain America Brave New World, and overall what your thoughts were on some specific parts of the film, post-credit scene. And let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.